Good morning. It's a good day at First Center for Spiritual Living, and we're so glad and happy to have all of you on the call with us today. It's a Sunday gathering, and we're starting with our meditation session for 15 minutes. Join us as we contemplate. Thank you. God bless you.
This meditation was designed to take you on a journey through your body to let you know that you are safe. It's safe to change, and your body knows how to heal. To begin, close your eyes. Take a deep breath and quiet the chatter of your mind. Take another deep breath and tune into your body. As you breathe, breathe love into your body and let it surround you. Imagine yourself looking into your eyes with love. And now imagine having a conversation with yourself. Just allow yourself to let go and say, I am willing to let go. I release all tension. I release all fear. I release all anger. I release all guilt. I release all sadness and let go of old limitations. I let it go, and I am at peace. I am at peace with myself and the process of life. I am safe. My body is a glorious place to live. I rejoice that I have chosen this particular body because it is perfect for me in this lifetime. It is the perfect size, shape, and color. It serves me so well. I marvel at the miracle that is my body. I choose the healing thoughts that create and maintain my healthy body and make me feel even better. I cooperate with my body's nutritional needs and feed my body delicious healing foods. I drink clean, clear water and allow it to flow through my body, washing away all impurities. I deserve to be healed, and my healthy cells grow stronger every day. I am safe. My body knows how to heal itself, and I trust life to support my healing in every way. When I need support, I attract the right people to help me heal. Every hand that touches my body is a healing hand, including mine. Every day and in every way, I am growing healthier and healthier. I love and appreciate my beautiful body.
My digestion starts with my mouth. I love my mouth. I nourish myself by taking in new ideas. I prepare new concepts and healthy foods for digestion and assimilation. I learn to choose new foods that are delicious and supportive of my body. I have a great taste for life and for healthy food. I choose to eat slowly, to savor my food, and chew well so that I can digest with ease. This is how much I love my body. I love and appreciate my beautiful mouth. I love my stomach. It is with joy that I digest the experiences of life and the healthy, delicious food I eat. Life agrees with me, and I choose nourishing foods that agree with my body. I easily assimilate the food I eat at every meal. I choose the thoughts and the food that glorify my being. I trust life to feed me that which I need. I am good enough as I am, and I am worth taking the time to digest my food. I assimilate this thought, and I make it true for me. I love and appreciate my beautiful stomach. I love my liver. I let go of everything I no longer need, and I joyfully release all irritation, criticism, and condemnation. My liver knows how to cleanse and heal my body. Everything in my life is in divine right order. Everything that happens is for my highest good and greatest joy. I find love everywhere in my life. I love and appreciate my beautiful liver. I love my intestines. I am an open channel for good to flow in and through me. Freely, generously, and joyfully. I create new habits of choosing foods that assimilate well in my body, keeping me energized, healthy, nourished, and strong. I willfully release all thoughts and things that clutter and clog. All is normal, harmonious, and perfect in my life. I live only in the ever-present now. I choose the thoughts that keep me open and receptive to the flow of life. I have perfect intake, assimilation, and elimination. I love and appreciate my beautiful intestines.
I choose the best food for my body, and I bless this food with love. I love selecting foods that are nutritious and delicious. Planning healthy meals is a joy, and I can easily make anything taste good. My body loves the way I choose the perfect foods for myself. Mealtimes are happy times, and my body heals and strengthens with every bite I take. I am one with life, and life loves me and supports me. Therefore, I claim for myself perfect, vibrant health at all times. My body knows how to be healthy, and I cooperate by feeding it healthy foods and beverages, and exercising in ways that are enjoyable to me. I listen with love to the thoughts that I think about my health. I open myself to the wisdom within, knowing that life will bring me everything I need. Everything I need to know to create new healthy habits. I trust my body to guide me, knowing that whatever I need comes to me in the perfect time, space, and sequence. The world I live in is safe. It is full of delicious, healthy options that I can choose to create new habits for my health. I choose to love myself with each thought I think and with every bite I eat.
Good morning and welcome to our Sunday gathering. It's so good to have all of you on the call with us today. Before we go into the program, I'd like to invite Reverend Judith for the opening affirmative prayer. Reverend Judith.
Get adjusted here. Good morning, everyone. This is our quiet time, the time that we go within to spirit, to that divine presence that is our truth, and hear and embody some truth about ourselves. So this word is spoken as the truth that is already within the law for myself, for each one here at the center, and for each one who is listening, part of this service in any way. We recognize, we understand, we affirm that there is one power, one presence, one intelligence that is absolute love, absolute givingness, absolute support, and it operates through law. Each is one with that divine presence. Each is in their own right. All there is spirit. They are not all that spirit is, but all there is to us is spirit, knowing itself, loving itself, cherishing itself, living its magnificence by means of us. And each is opening their consciousness, raising and clarifying their consciousness to understand and to know and to accept and to live this truth, that right where I am, the allness is. Right where I am, the eternal good is operating through me. And I am willing and available, eager and ready to let God, good, spirit, the one without a second, be by means of me. And in this decision, everything opens and flourishes and clarifies itself, and each is able to move forward in this awareness, in this acceptance, in this understanding that I am one with cause, I and the Father are one. All that it is and has, I am and have, and I say yes and thank you. This is the truth declared within the law, moving and manifesting and demonstrating as that consciousness of oneness with the one that knows that all is well, all is good, because all is spirit. And for this I give thanks, and so it is.
Thank you, Reverend Judith. Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. We're going to have a little discussion before we invite Dr. Greg for the lesson today. And I have a lot of things that I probably will want us to discuss about. And before I call Reverend Judith up again, I'd like to go to Reverend Robert, and I would want you please to put us through what, or tell us how a daily life activity of a science of mind student is expected to be from waking up. How do we position ourselves to be who we have come here to be? How do we position ourselves to create the reality that we're all talking about that we want? Just a daily, what's a daily work of a student of this teaching?
Right. Well,
Yeah.
can you hear me? Yes. Yes. Well, I mean, it's different for everybody, as we know. But for me, because I've been in the teaching for over 20 years, or just about 20 years, I think for me, I have to start my day quiet, centered, and doing some spiritual mind treatment and focusing on the good. And I take that calm, that poise, that my meditation in the morning brings to me, and I bring it into my daily life and everything that I do, my daily chores at home, my daily interactions with people that I meet during the day. And I stay centered in that poise and in that calm and in that higher consciousness, if you will. Today, I did my spiritual practice, and I went for a little run out in the country, and I went for a little run, and I kept asking myself what Reverend Greg asks us on Thursdays: who are you meant to be? Why are you here? Who am I? And the only answer I came up with was that I am a spiritual being having a human experience. So it's in retrospect what I'm saying, that we do our practices in the morning. We connect with that divine center of our being, and we take that into our daily life during that particular day and every day. And every day is going to be different, and there'll be challenges. But if we're centered in what we practice, life will grow into being one of joyful actions and reactions. So that's my daily life.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Reverend Robert. Reverend Judith? Yes, please.
Was the question?
What's like your daily activity to work as a science of mind practitioner, student? What do you advise? What do you?
Just what Robert said. That's it in a nutshell. Everybody approaches it different. Everybody lives differently. But the main thing is the oneness with spirit. Oneness and gratitude are my main things for life. So whatever you can do to become aware or to dwell on that oneness is what you do. Meditation in the morning, but these things take time. But meditation in the morning, that journaling, in the morning and at night, reading something from the science of mind, just sitting quietly and going within and listening to spirit that is always trying to get our attention, to let us know how wonderful we are and how all the gifts of spirit are already ours. We have to listen to know that. And I'm not going to say any more about it because it'll tie in with the community time talk. But just what Robert says, and if you don't have the time to do all that in the morning, when you've practiced enough, when you understand the teaching enough, and when your intent is to live from your awareness of oneness with spirit, which is oneness with good, that everything kind of falls into place. Not always just the way you want it, but you're always in charge because you could always go back to that oneness and all the power and the assurance and the love and the freedom and ease and joy that oneness brings. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Reverend Judith. And yeah, you're stressed about the oneness in spirit, being one in spirit, and that directs every of our activities. Thank you so much. Hello, Reverend Shane. Hey, Shane.
Hi, Jimmy. Hi, everybody.
Good, good. Do you have any thoughts on this?
Look, I think the idea is just to be willing in the morning.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to know how to do all this stuff. I think just being open to life, changing every day. And I love the word present. You know, yesterday was history, but it's called present because it's a gift.
Yeah.
And every moment presents a wonderful opportunity for us to learn more about who we are. So if we think we just start the day off with mindfulness, knowing that today is a gift, that's a really wonderful way to start the day.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. I was also still wondering what your thoughts would be, or what your advice would be, or thoughts actually, if someone is always experiencing this thing. When you look at the mirror, you don't like what you see. How do you go handling that? I mean, you look at the mirror, you don't like the image you see in the mirror. Reverend Robert? Are you on? Okay.
Yeah. When I look in the mirror, I see the dark circles under my eyes. That's the first thing I see. And I you know, it's a negative thing. And you know what I do? I just say, the hell with it, excuse my language there, but the hell with it. And I laugh and I smile. And once I laugh and once I smile, I see spirit coming through me and I love what I see. And that's my answer.
Okay, that's good. Well, Greg just said something like almost the same thing you said in the audience here. Reverend Judy, would you like to say something quickly? No, come on.
Dr. Greg is ready to go over here. Okay, okay. I think all of us, when we look in the mirror in the morning and you see the hair is going every which way, and it's just, you don't look at that, you look at who you are. And I said, good morning, beautiful, what's up for today? No matter what I'm looking at, like physically, because I look at who I am. And that's, I mean, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but we're all spirit with all these different faces and looks that we have as individuals, and it's all God. So see that. I don't do much mirror work except for when I pass the mirror, high spirit, and in the morning. So that's it. That's it.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Reverend Greg is here. I would like to invite him for the lesson today. Dr. Greg.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to First Center for Spiritual Living in New York City. I want to, first of all, welcome all the faces and people here on the Zoom, and I also want to say hi to the people who are on Facebook, Instagram Live, and now YouTube. They're a growing audience, and we're wanting to engage those of you who are in these social platforms and invite you all into the Zoom call. That way you're able to interact with all these folks. And usually after our service, there's the time for personal sharing, and it's really a more intimate way of joining us. So you can always send us a message. Jimmy, who was just in front of the camera, he's here. He'll take your information. I think he needs either a phone number to text or an email address. Also, you're able to get our weekly e-letter, and that way we can let you know what spirit groups we're having, invite you into what we do on Thursday night, certainly, which is our self-healing class, which is an ongoing class with 52 lessons. It's a gathering where people are committed to doing the work. And the work is on changing the conversation that they have with themselves and learning to love themselves more and more. Because we know as we alter that conversation, as we lift it up higher, our life reflects the higher conversation, and conversely, it affects the other conversation. Many of you will come into our teaching and you'll have an inkling, you'll have an idea of what we're doing. You've heard of the law of attraction. You like the goodies that you can get from this teaching. And of course, you can derive many benefits from participation and practice of this teaching. The thing that's oftentimes not understood for people who are starting to learn the law of attraction, which is the younger people oftentimes find us through ways like that, nothing for nothing. You don't get the great house or the great girlfriend, the great boyfriend, the great relationships without doing something. And we do our work in consciousness, we do our work in mind. And so it's really helpful to start feeding yourself information, considering new things, so you can maybe neutralize some of the things that you're presently thinking that are sabotaging your success. So we're here today. I'm picking a last minute topic. Typically every week I get a bunch of suggestions from the office, and this week for one reason or another I didn't get them, or I got a bunch of things at midnight which didn't do me much good. So I was putting things together, and I found something by Debbie Ford that I liked. It's called How to Make Right Choices. We are creative beings. We're all making decisions. Are they right or are they best? We do the best we can with what we know. Usually I get all these different projects and I'm working on them through the week. And I really didn't have that last night or yesterday. So for inspiration, I looked into Debbie Ford's work, which I had to study years ago. And that was great. Debbie Ford was a popular author in the New Thought movement. She sadly passed away in 2013. She's someone I go back to from time to time. Debbie Ford described people who seek truth as light chasers, and she wrote several books, one of which was The Dark Side of the Light Chasers, which aimed to help people understand and overcome their shadow self. The parts of yourself that you keep coming up that somehow are defeating us. She had many spiritual practices to help people get at the gold or get at the truth of being, and to deal with the shadow and embrace the parts of themselves that oftentimes hold us back. A course she put together for personal transformation in 2009 was called the 21-Day Consciousness Cleanse. And as I was reviewing this yesterday, it was very, very much like the Q process. In fact, same course in many ways. So she wrote this course in 2009. It was a breakthrough program for connecting ourselves with our soul's deepest purpose and figuring out who we have come here to be, and then figuring out the things that go on within us that seem to derail us from that. I've been working with the integral growth model since 2016, and that's really the model that's been helpful for the transformation of this center. And in it, there's a suggestion for us to be doing introductory work with truth for New Thought students, what Reverend Judith might know of as the Science of Mind Basics. Also was suggested to me that we get people involved in the Q process, which does the same thing as the 21-Day Consciousness Cleanse of Debbie Ford, which is really ask some of the bigger questions. What's life all about? What's our part in it? What are we here to do? And we start to see and look at how we work and how life is working for us, or how we have our life working against us. So these are not new ideas. It's putting them into practice and creating the right classes for you. And there's a group of us every Tuesday night that are addressing that right now. Another version of this work was done in Fort Lauderdale with Dr. Tolliver years ago, which was called a creative living or transformative living process with groups. And we have been using the Debbie Ford work for inspiration in all of these. And so it was really great for me to get reacquainted with that material yesterday, because I could see how it was, in fact, the foundation of the Q process, the transformational process, and the other things that I've been involved in. So expect to see more on this subject. We're going to create a weekly spirit group on that very soon. Debbie Ford wrote another book, which I had forgotten about, which I took a look at for you in preparation of this lesson. And it was called, What are the 10 questions that you could be asking yourself that matter most? And while there was no time to read the entire book last night, I was able to write down most of the questions. And they're good questions. I suggest you pick up a copy of the book, and I promised myself I would reread it entirely. The questions supply you with the wisdom you need to make what was previously unconscious decisions. So we make a lot of unconscious decisions because we have a lot of belief systems, a lot of beliefs in our consciousness. And a lot of times we're going just on automatic, meaning we respond, we respond, we respond, or as Jimmy would say, we react, we react, we react. The thing about reacting, you're not really using your conscious mind. You're flying on autopilot. And that's not always the smartest way to fly, because we are conscious beings, and we can have new thoughts. But in order to have a new thought, we have to pause somehow long enough to interject the new thought. Otherwise, we're going to be taking the old and bringing it into the new. And we're going to be repeating patterns and situations that we've been doing all through our lives. So these 10 questions supply us with wisdom, the wisdom we need to make what was previously unconscious conscious. So you can choose, and if you become conscious, you realize, oh my goodness, I'm creating this. See, that's that is the beauty of her work. I remember watching Debbie Ford in a movie called The Moses Code that I was a part of probably a decade ago. And she was seeing film, there were examples after examples in this particular movie of a woman acting out, being terrible. And she described her as a bitch, which I know is a terrible term, but she says, I am that. I am that. So the point was, Debbie Ford was acknowledging, I can be this terrible person. I can be this terrible person also, even though I am a spiritual being, I'm a being of light. So again, the book that she's known for the most, I think, is Chasing the Light, the light chasers. So we have to own the parts of ourselves that aren't so pretty, acknowledge that they exist so that we can let them go. So here are the 10 questions. And these questions will supply you with the wisdom, she thought, to make what was previously unconscious decisions. So I guess we're going to start with the fact that we operate oftentimes just in reaction. So when we bring things to light, then we can start to choose with all the power that comes from being fully aware. And that's what Dr. Holmes was talking about. We have power available to us to use. If you're not conscious of this power and you don't know what you're doing, you're going to keep creating and recreating from old patterns that probably are not working for your highest good. So when we bring these patterns to light, finally, and we can embrace them, say, I am that. Okay, sometimes I'm really terrible. Sometimes I do terrible things, hard to believe. But you got to laugh at it, though, because we do. Because, divine as we are, we all really can be characters and do some really unbelievable stuff. So bringing all that stuff to light, it's really what her work was about. And sometimes religious scientists fail in that we don't want to look at that stuff. In fact, somewhat we've been taught we look away from conditions, right? Like it's not there. Well, it isn't there in a way because it doesn't exist in truth. It's nothingness. It's self-imposed nonsense, which is the acronym for SIN, S-I-N, self-imposed nonsense. Yet, if we harbor a lot of this nonsense inside of us and it's there, we have to find a way to cancel it, neutralize it, replace it. Spiritual mind treatment, of course, is an excellent way. I know I'm ahead of my notes now, but in spiritual mind treatment, if you're doing one properly, if you're learning to do affirmative prayer, you're going to learn how to neutralize anything unlike light, love, peace, joy, and happiness. You're going to learn in the prayer process how to neutralize and replace these shadow qualities. But not everybody's doing spiritual mind treatment, affirmative prayer every day and all the time, because if you are, that's a high calling in itself. And then you probably don't need to be worried about any of these transformative classes and all of that, because you're actually living it and practicing it. But that's not everybody. And these classes and these questions are really helpful for most. Each of us are points of power within the mind of God. And I'm here to tell you, we can, if we're in alignment, do anything. You've been given the ability to choose. You've been given the ability to see life from a very elevated place. You've been given the ability to just create a magnificent and fantastic life of health, wholeness, and healing, and prosperity. These are all gifts that you possess that you may not be using yet, but they are all yours. We're always making choices. So here's, I think it was her first question. And this is a question you're to ask yourself. Will this choice I'm making right now, whatever it is, move me toward an inspiring future? Or will it keep me stuck in the past? That's only one, you can remember that for yourself. Will this choice, and the thing is, we're always at choice. When we start to explain ourselves, it's like it's my boss's fault, or it's my girlfriend's fault, or it's happened because of something. That's a big fib. So here it is. Will this choice I'm making, whatever it is, right now, move me toward an inspiring future, or will it keep me stuck in some pattern or in the past? The point of power is always in the present moment. So we want to think about the choice and start asking yourself those questions. Will this choice that I'm making right now move me towards an inspiring future, or will it keep me stuck? The second question is, will the decision I'm going to make, will this decision bring me fulfillment? Will this decision bring me long-term fulfillment, or will it just bring me some temporary gratification? So when you're approaching a choice, is this just going to make me happy right now when I spend this $1,000 on this thing? You know, sometimes those things give us some happiness. You buy yourself some jewelry, or a new suit, or a new something. Maybe when you don't feel you really can afford it, will it bring you long-term fulfillment, or will it bring you short-term gratification? And you could apply that question to lots of things. What we're called to do in those moments is to slow down a little bit, because we spin and we go so fast. And she's suggesting that we think it through, because as you think it through and you pause, you can allow spirit, you can allow guidance. Because as we teach you here every week, if you invite spirit into your life and partner with that presence, you may say no to many of the things. You may slow down and say, no, I really don't need this thing right now that I think I need. This was just really something that I was doing because I was covering up. I wasn't feeling adequate. I was not feeling I wasn't feeling really good. So I thought maybe I would just get this, buy this, do this, or act out in some way that you might later regret. So will this choice, again, bring me long-term fulfillment, or is it something that I'm doing right now just because I'm unhappy with something else? So slow down, we're moving fast, think things through, allow some guidance. There is power available to you. You all know this, and you know that you know. I know you know because I teach it to you every week. You know what to do. So that would be the suggestion. Ask that question and slow down a little bit. As we come into the center week by week, Thursday by Thursday, especially on Thursdays, because we focus always on learning to love ourselves, embrace ourselves, accept ourselves. We know that we are evolving beings, and we know that we will make mistakes. We have made mistakes. But we also know that we're learning to love ourselves the way we are. We're practicing self-acceptance. We're learning to accept everyone else also. That's a big one. We're learning to love ourselves, and we're learning to accept everyone else also. We're learning to accept people the way they are, to love, accept, and approve of ourselves and others. That's really a big thing. There is no them and us in our teaching. There is one energy, one love, one thing that permeates life, and we're a part of it, and we acknowledge it, and we acknowledge it exists in everybody else. So the next question is, am I standing in my power, or am I trying to please other people? And that's a very big question, because all through my life I've seen that played out the other way. Are you standing in your own power day by day, or are you living your life to please other people? I know the religious tradition that I grew up in. I remember well when I was a kid, everybody was saying, well, offer it up, you know, whatever when I wasn't getting what I wanted, offer it up, you know, and I thought, why do they keep saying that? You know, you're going to get your rewards later, and offer it up. And really, in a way, you know, I understood what they were saying now, but it's kind of discounting, like the things that maybe you want, we're told, are not important, or not valuable. Even who you are is not important and not valuable to some extent. So maybe you got a version of that. And if you did, the question that Debbie Ford asked is, am I standing in my power, or am I trying to please other people? Too much, I'll say. I was in a great spiritual group for a number of years with a very, very gifted person who was the facilitator. And she would always say, you know, what are you creating this to be? And there would be situation after situation in that group all the time. And the question would always be, what are you creating this to be? She never asked what's happening, because for everybody in that spiritual group, something was happening. But what was happening within me was always different than what was happening with other people. And that is always the case. So when I ask myself, am I standing in my power, or am I trying to please another? I have to first of all realize I'm creating my own life, and I'm creating it to be a certain way. And, you know, we teach you we're authors of our own experience here. So we want to start to get in touch with ourselves and become more authentic. And I don't have to look to my right to see what Jimmy's thinking or saying, or Judith. I have the ability to make my own choices. And I have the ability to say, hey, I like this. I like that. Are you one of these people who can just respond to things and just know? Or do you have to kind of like look over here or look over there because you don't know yourself? And there's a lot of people out there who just don't have a clue, and they look to the right and they look to their left, and they've lost sight of what it is that even brings them joy. They maybe don't even have a sense of what their purpose is as of yet. So you come into a teaching like this, and we're going to tell you that you're wonderful. We're going to tell you that you are an exquisite, unique individualization of this one spirit, and that it's expressing itself perfectly by means of you. And we're going to ask probing questions in our Q process, in our transformational living process, in our creative, what's the latest one, process, that will help you get in touch with the things within you that are special and wonderful, and many things that you've abandoned throughout the years, and maybe we're taught that are not important because you haven't been standing in your own power and you've been trying to please others. So as we move forward and we're loving ourselves and we're learning to see through the eyes of compassion a healed world. You see, if you have the eyes of a mystic or a truth student, a practitioner, you're going to be able to learn to see through the eyes of compassion. And you're going to look at a world of wholeness and health. You're not going to be derailed by what other people are doing, how they're acting. You'll be looking at loveliness and beauty, and you will know that everything in life is evolving magnificently. The question is, do you have a sense that in every part of life, every corner of creation, everything is evolving forward perfectly in a beautiful way? And do you have a sense that there is this creative intelligence, this energy, this unity that underlies all things? This is what this teaching offers you, is this type of peace, this type of understanding of the perfection that is. And I know, I know that you've made progress. I know I've made progress. You can look at your own life and you can see, oh my goodness, I've come so far from where I was. And if you're able to see that, you automatically ought to be able to shift into the consciousness that all of life everywhere is evolving. Some of the people we might have thought when we were younger as our enemies, and some of the ideas of bad and good and right and wrong and who's bad and who's good and who's right and wrong, that type of thinking, once you work and do the spiritual work, will slip away. And as you entertain the idea that there is one power, one life, you're going to understand that life is in everyone all the time, everywhere. So the idea of enemies and opponents will start slipping away more and more as you practice this teaching. Not everybody understands this. A lot of people flat out won't agree with you because they're going to insist that there's bad guys and bad forces, and you can do that if you want to, but if you come to this teaching for any length of time, you will step up, you will level up out of that, and you will begin to see the world as a unitary whole. You'll begin to understand that the universe is one. And you'll begin to understand that everyone's operating at a level of consciousness, doing the very best that they can. And you will start to have a sense of peace about you. Ernest Holmes spoke of Christianity of different places. And I remember one quote that I thought was very cool when he said, there's nothing wrong with Christianity, except that it's not practiced too much anywhere. And what he was talking about was the idea of loving one another as yourself. Because he was a teacher that understood that he was one with this creative source, this Father, and he realized that, in connection with this source, that he could accomplish anything. He understood that his brother and he were one. He could love his enemies because he would know he was one with life, one with people, one with God, one all the time. We are all part of this same thing that he was talking about so long, and everyone is evolving in love and light. There is a power, there's a presence in everything all the time, and it evolves by means of you. You're very important in the scheme of things, so you may think that you're insignificant. Life, creative life, energy is in you, operating through you, and all of life is moving forward by means of each of us. So let's relax. Let us understand that we are supplied and supported. Miss Ford's next question involves our personal lens, and our personal lens is the way we see life. Here's the thing. Bill Tolliver used to teach me in Fort Lauderdale years ago. He would ask the question, are you a lifter? Are you a person who's lifting life up all the time? Or are you kind of like a drag? Are you a leaner? Are you looking to see what's right? Or are you looking for what's wrong? And you know the people. I know them. I see them all week long, every week. You see the people who come in and all they can talk about is what's good. And conversely, I also have a few people that are always talking to me about what's wrong. And it's the same situation, but people have, I'll say, different lens, right? It involves your personal lens, your personal way of looking at things. Years ago, there was a recovery book written by Chuck C., and it was entitled A New Pair of Glasses. And Chuck C. was suggesting that we put on a new pair of glasses with a different lens, because the lens that is looking at the problem we'll continue to see problems. The lens that is clear and sees the truth, the underlying truth of all people and all things, and seeing the God or the good will see the God or the good. You will continually be seeing the evolution and the perfection that's growing in everyone all the time and in yourself. Always, it's about your consciousness and where you're coming from. So wherever this is, so just do a little bit of self-assessment. We're always doing self-assessments here. And this is what all these different processes we do in spiritual groups. It speaks of your spiritual knowledge. When you're focused on the peace, or the peace of the universe, when you're focused on the unity, when you're focused on the presence, the one energy that we all live and move and have our being in, when you're focused on that, a lot of the other stuff slips away. When we do this, we have the heart and we have the minds of a metaphysician or a practitioner. Our consciousness has been leveled up. If your lens is adjusted where you're seeing the good, your consciousness has been leveled up significantly. You take very little personally because you'll know it's not personal. You'll know that people are doing the best they can with what they have. That was one of the great sayings that was attributed to Louise. Hey, they're all doing the best that they can, so quit talking about them and understand, have compassion. You have compassion for yourself, hopefully. I know I've done when I was younger a lot of things that, weren't too swift, and today I can look at myself and have a lot of compassion for everything. And all of the things that have happened in our lives have brought us to a place of higher understanding. So you will understand, the more you practice this teaching, what is yours to actually do in the world, what actions are yours to do. More often and most often, we do our work in consciousness. I'll say that again. More often and most often, we do our work in mind or in consciousness. There's a wise saying that's been in our teaching for a long time. It isn't so much that there's something to do as there is something to realize. We will see actions, and at times inspired actions, but largely we do our work in consciousness. If you get yourself more involved in consciousness and the study of consciousness, most likely you won't choose to be part of arguments that are circulating around you. The things that you're seeing on the news will not be, they'll be of interest to you, but you'll see it from a different lens. You'll understand that, okay, these people are all doing the best they can, and your opinions will be different. Most likely, you're going to be part of Spirit's business, where you will see the world as a whole place, and you'll see it's complete and it's always unfolding and moving forward. And others in your life will challenge you to take sides and take positions, because they will be preoccupied in seeing what's wrong and what's right and what's missing. You, though, as you practice this teaching, have love and empathy for all people everywhere, no matter if it's a saint or a scoundrel. You're going to have love and compassion for the scoundrel too, as well as you would the saint. Your focus is focused on the wholeness of life, and you know that life is perfectly manifesting and unfolding in everyone and all the time. You know that you have the power. Most people who are here, part of this center, who are here often, are attempting to live the affirmative life, and they're attempting to be lifters. A lifter is a cheerleader. So, you're seeing the good. It's just your preoccupation. And people who are not lifters might be saying, oh, this is terrible, he's terrible, that's terrible, the sky is falling, But a lifter has a different consciousness. Dr. Bill used to say, they're the applauders. Religious scientists, really, the ones who really work it, are the people who are looking for the opportunity to say, good, it's great, it's wonderful. because that's the way they see, that's their lens. They know that their life is wonderful, and they know life is moving forward wonderfully, and they intend to be part of that creative process, and to use their God consciousness to lift people up and lift the world up. A lifter does not take on the burdens of the world. Rather, they do their work in consciousness as they keep the high watch, as they keep the faith in the process of life. See, if you have one person doing that, they're doing a tremendous amount of work already. People absolutely reap what they sow. If you're raising your vibration and your consciousness, and you're genuinely looking for the good and God is what you will experience. It's what you will find. Miss Ford's next question was, will this choice, whatever choice it is, add to my life force, or will it rob me of energy? And you can look to your own life and ask yourself that one with all of your choices. Will this one choice add to my life force, or will it rob me of my energy? Many of you go places you don't want to go, hang out with people you prefer not to hang out with, say yes to things you don't want to say yes to, and you utilize your time in ways that completely are depleting. You're hanging out with your family members when you really don't want to all the time, and it's very difficult for you to authentically live your life because you have it set up so it works against you a bit. So undoing that, that could, maybe you need some support and maybe you need some reminding. But when it comes to an individual choice, you ask yourself, will this choice add to my life force, or will it rob me of energy? So moving forward, the suggestion here is, and in making the next decision, you might ask yourself, is it going to cause me to feel expansive to do this? See, I can hang out with some people and it's light and it's fun and it causes me to have laughter. And then I can hang out with other people that just completely, I won't say they make me feel, because I won't do that victim thing. But the thing is, who lifts your spirit and who doesn't. So will this choice, or this occupation, this thing I do, add to my life force, or will it rob me of energy? And really, it doesn't rob you. You rob yourself by being involved in it, right? So it's really about choices. This is what she's having you see in these 10 questions. Do you read, or do you watch, or do you listen to things that expand your thinking, that make you laugh, that cause you to experience humor? If so, you're going to feel rejuvenated. I always try to find something that will make me laugh and also cause me to grow every day. If I'm able to find something that makes me laugh, I'm going to feel restored and happy. If I continually am deferring to other people, if I do that a lot in order to make them happy, and if I've been doing that for a long time, chances are I'm kind of out of touch with what brings me happiness and joy. And I know that's the truth of a lot of the world. I may be one of those people who don't really know who I've come here to be or what gifts I possess, and that's like a lot of people who come into our teaching. And this is the reason Debbie Ford's 21-day process, or the Q process, which I think borrows from her process, and why what we teach is so important. Louise Hay's work, same thing. It's all here for you to learn to love yourself and learn to be the creative, expressive beings that you are. Life, sadly, is very brief. It's like a blip. And, you're here for such a short time, and you have an opportunity to shine and to grow and to evolve and to live with joy and peace and harmony and excitement. But most of the world, as we know, doesn't live that way. I say from week to week, because we think of Emerson, he was the one that they used to say, he had this great understanding, and it's always been said, a few from every generation will understand the consciousness of Emerson. Well, we're teaching the same consciousness here, that it's all here for you. It's a banquet, right? I've said that before too. And yet the banquet is here, and why is there all this starvation? Why is there all this, I don't mean with the group here listening, but in the world itself. So we teach you many things here, one of which is you're here to be free to express yourself joyfully and with optimism and positive expectancy, that you're an individualization of spirit, and that you can lift up the whole world with your wonderful, prosperous, and healthy mentality. All of this gets back to the core of the work that we do here every week, the work we do with Louise Hay, with Debbie Ford's 21-day spiritual cleanse, with the 21-day Q process. We're always encouraging you to level up, to step up, to embrace the greatness that is yours, that is your nature, your God nature. The kingdom, the good, the glory, the power of all of it resides within you. So when we're making decisions as we go forward, because it's the only way we really can go, when we're making decisions, we want to center ourselves. We want to center ourselves in the awareness of who we really are. And when we realize that, we can choose and we can sense this, and it'll bring forth an expansion within us. And then we can use the challenges and things that come up for us as an opportunity for us to transcend and grow. We want to change by choosing to see everything that happens in our life as good and know that everything is happening for us. I'm fondly remembering a prosperity teacher that some of the old timers know, Edwina Gaines. And she was a hoot, or as they used to say, a hoot and a holler. Look, Edwina Gaines was always challenging herself to see the God or the good. That's all she would see, is the God or good. If you keep challenging yourself to see the God or the good, I promise you, you're going to elevate your consciousness. Or very simply, we could ask ourselves the next question of Miss Ford's, the fifth question, I think it was. Based on everything I know, with a choice, does this choice empower me, or does it empower me? Does it empower or disempower, rather? So ask yourself that. Generally, if you're blaming others, that's not going to empower you, right? You might be working in a job that you're not particularly in alignment with, or you're there for days and years, and it isn't really you, and you're hurting yourself by staying there, and you're hurting your employer too. You believe that you have to stay there because you don't trust the process of life, that there's anything else better for you. So you disempower yourself with your unhappiness, and that unhappiness touches other people too. So you're not helping others either with your unhappiness. So the question is, does this choice that I have empower myself, and is it empowering others, or does it disempower me? Wherever we are, we're making choices all the time, like this, and other choices. And we are operating at the effect of others because we're not doing what's best for ourselves. And the fact of the matter is, we're doing it to ourselves. It's not about them. And we blame them. We blame our girlfriends and our boyfriends and our places we work, and we blame everybody, and we feel all kinds of feelings. But the fact of the matter is, we're always at choice. You can always walk out that door and walk towards your own happiness. Any of these kinds of choices are included in question 5. People stay in relationships oftentimes too long too. That's tied into question 5. And they hurt each other psychologically and worse, right? So the 5th question would ask, both in all these instances, in similar instances, is staying there empowering you? Is it helping you? If you're staying there and it's not empowering you, you know it's holding you back, and it's probably hurting other people too. Is it really helping you? Are you who metaphysical students, as a metaphysical student, you'll come to understand that I am supplied and supported. So question number 5 is a very big question of choice, where we're constantly looking at the areas of our lives and our relationships, our jobs, and all the things we do, and answer whether we are empowering ourselves or not by choosing to remain in such situations. A couple more questions, because she's giving you a lot to think about today. Is what I'm doing an act of self-love, or is what I'm doing an act of self-sabotage? It's another simple question, and you can ask yourself this question time and time again. This all ties into Louise Hay's work that we do every Thursday night, and we'll present it there in a more simple form, so please join in any Thursday at 7. In considering these decisions, is what I'm doing an act of faith, or is what I'm doing coming from fear? And that's a powerful question too. Am I doing this because I'm trusting God, or am I doing it because I'm fearful if I don't do it, something will happen? And the last question of Debbie Ford's for today is this simple one. Am I choosing from my divinity, from my connected God self, or am I choosing from my humanity? Am I reacting? And that's a tough question, but it's a question to consider. I was thinking, why all these questions, and why they're important. And I was reading about Debbie Ford late last night, and in her book, she said quality questions, these kind of questions, quality questions will create a quality life. And I thought, yeah, they're all good questions. Your consciousness, your awareness is the sum total of your thinking. That's what we teach every week here. Your consciousness, your personal awareness is made up of the sum total of your thinking. Debbie Ford suggests for the quality lives that you want, it's made up of all your decisions. And it's another way of saying it's made up of your consciousness. Are we always attempting to see things more clearly? We want to be choosing from a place of connection. I spent a decade with that one thought. Are you choosing from a place of connection, of light, rather than from fear or doubt? We're always exploring the nature of being and who we have come here to be. If we intend to reach greater goals and create the life that we want, these are the questions we're considering. All of us want to be making choices that lead us to new places and new actions and greater freedom. Any of the material that is I read involving Debbie Ford is fantastic. It's very similar to the Q process, or the transformational living process that we're working with at the center, and all of them are roadmaps that can be very helpful. Debbie Ford's 10 right questions will give you the power and the inspiration to create a life that you can feel good about, and one that involves choice. All thoughts are things, so we want to be more aware of the important choices we make, because they'll always have consequences. I'll say that again. All of our thoughts will have consequences. I remind us often, many times, of Socrates' warning, I think it was, or advice, which was know yourself, know what your thinking is, because it gets replicated all through your life. No matter whether you're stepping forward and using Miss Ford's 21-day cleanse, or the Q process, 21-day process, or looking at these 10 questions, it's all an inquiry for you to gain insight to help you reveal to yourself what's motivating you. Of course, doing affirmative prayer, learning spiritual mind treatment itself, if it's done properly, can reveal much of the same material. Reverend Jane Claypool, who was a contemporary of mine, used to say to me, Greg, spiritual mind treatment's the crown jewel of religious science. If you're heavily involved in the process of affirmative prayer, it's likely you don't need any of these processes, because in our affirmative prayer process, many of these nuggets, or these underlying shadow aspects of ourself, have been revealed to us, and we have effectively neutralized them. We've uncovered them and neutralized them in the process of treatment. however you get there, it's important to get there and do the work. So you can join us any Thursday because we do the work. We have 52 lessons Thursday night at 7 p.m. or join in any morning on Sunday at 10:45. Soon we will be having Reverend Judith, who's here with us, be teaching the class with either Robert or Shane or both or myself. But we have a lot of things planned for you. And they'll be coming up pretty soon. So we're going to take a very quick break, and we will see you at the other side of the break, and where you can, those of you who are on Zoom can interact with us, and those of you who are watching us on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, I'd like you to send your info into Jimmy or the office, and we can then invite you into our other activities. So thank you. We'll see you in a moment.